Hello, this is Diane Williams, and you've just tuned into the Crafty View. I'm out here at my favorite place, which is the Craftsmen's Guild, or some call it the Bill Waller Craft Center or the Mississippi Craft Center on 950 Rice Road. And I like to come out here when artists are demonstrating. And today, Kira Cummings is out here, and we've seen her before, probably a year and a half ago. But she's always up and popping with something new and exciting, and I'd like to share that with you today. Hello, Kira.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing fine. You're out here demonstrating some of your work today, I see.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I have coasters, I have prints of my work. These are 4 by 4 inches. I also have tic-tac-toe. I have ashtray, necklaces, buttons, and magnets.
Excellent, excellent. And I like that your prices you've done your wood burning on the prices as well. That's really cool. And you have information on how people can have access to paying and learning more about your work. You could visit the QR code you all, or her website, Kira Cummings with an S, studio.com. So let's just start talking about let's talk about you first, because everyone hasn't met you yet. How long have you been doing this work?
Ooh, for a few years. I want to say I started taking it seriously around 2016. That's when I had a show at Gallery 1 on Jack State campus. That's what made me really just like, hey, I really want to get into wood burning seriously. Started practicing my technique a little more, started doing more realism. I mean, I don't have that many examples here besides my prints, but yeah, just getting more detail with my portraits because I love doing faces a lot.
You are very good at what you do. The likenesses, I recognize many of the people that you have exhibited here. So you must have a background in visual arts.
Yes, I'm actually a graduate from Jack State University. I majored in fine arts. I have a minor in graphic design. I also do videography. My company is called The Works LLC. You can look it up on Instagram, Facebook. I do small business promos and animation.
Excellent, excellent. This is great. So, you're out here today demonstrating. The members of the Craft Center demonstrate at least once a year, so you can call and find out who's up next, when they're going to be out here, and you can come and talk to the artists and learn more about their work. Now, what do we call this art form? Many people may not know. Sometimes I say wood burning, but no, it's got a more professional name than that.
Yes, this is called Pyrography, but you can also call it wood burning as well.
Yes. Okay. And I see some of the things that inspire you, so I know that a lot of these famous people have inspired you to create some of your art. And I own a piece by you as well. Who Rules the World, Beyonce.
Yes.
Yeah, I have. I mean, that inspires me at home. You know, I feel empowered and everything with that piece hanging on my wall. I'm grateful to have that. And so you step outside of the box sometimes. Let's talk about these coasters and how you created them, because they may not be able to see the finish that's on them. You kind of can see it's a little bit shiny. Talk about how you went about doing this, aside from the wood burning.
It came about because I had a former client. They were on my social media. I'm thinking they mistook something that I created as a coaster. And then they said, hey, you should make coasters. And then I'm thinking like, okay, that's a unique, I've never made coasters before. But the fact that it was a former client that suggested, I shouldn't call him a former because he's going to buy something again.
Yeah.
It's something about when someone actually spends money with you that gives you a suggestion. I take it more seriously versus somebody's like, hey, good luck with that. so But I decided just to make coasters just based off that suggestion, and then I made a poll on my Instagram, my IG stories, and then it was just overwhelmingly people wanted me to make coasters. So they thought it was a good idea.
Wow, wow. That's true. People give you good ideas. How did you get this idea to do a wonderful tic-tac-toe set that this would look nice on any coffee table? And when you're sitting around with your children or family, friends, you could just play a quick game of tic-tac-toe. And yes, there are enough wooden chips, wooden pieces to play the game.
Well, that came about because I was also trying to look for sort of a more commercial aspect of stuff to add to my table when I'm out, displaying my work. Just so there'll be a sense of something that's familiar that people can gravitate towards, oh, tic-tac-toe, I like that. And I just kind of thought like, oh, why play tic-tac-toe on a piece of paper when you can play on actual wood? So that's kind of how that came about. But just something that's portable, that's small, that's not too heavy or anything like that.
And by the way, this piece has already sold. She hasn't been out here a good hour, and it went pretty quick, so don't think too long about this kind of thing. She can make more, but right now, this one has gone to an owner who probably wants to pick it up, but I begged him to let me film it first. Okay, and this is an ashtray.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
This also came about because I had I had two people suggest that I make ashtrays. And I thought, okay, those two people also bought work from me before. Like enough where it's like, hey, I really appreciate you supporting my small business. If someone spends over $200 with me, I'm gonna kind of take what you have to say into consideration.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, I shouldn't say that. Shouldn't say that to make it seem like money's the deciding factor. But in a way, it kind of is.
They're representative of more than just themselves. Mm-hmm. If they spend that kind of money, they really like something. They know that their friends are going to like what they see, and so their suggestion relates to a broader base than just themselves or just someone with an idea.
Yeah, so it's just something about when people give me suggestions, I actually do take into consideration depending on the source. If you supported me before, even if it's just a like, comment, or share. Like, even if you didn't buy anything, but it's like you're letting people know more about me. You don't have to do that. I'm not paying anyone to advertise for me.
And so we have the zodiac signs here. Take a look at that, and she even helps you to understand if you're not familiar with zodiac signs. The dates are there. Let's see. I'm Taurus, so April 27th is Taurus, and so you can look at your zodiac sign and pick out. Are these refrigerator? No, these are pins. You can wear your button to represent your zodiac sign. Very good. And then these are refrigerator magnets. And let's talk about the process. All of this looks like finished, like it was done in a factory. But a lot of work goes into finishing to make this look as professional as it looks. I mean, when you find a piece of wood or obtain a piece of wood, it doesn't have this perfect finish on it. What do you have to do to get the product to the place where you're able to really work with it?
Well, I just have to get a resin. I prefer a resin finish because it looks nicer, it's shinier, the light catches it. And resin just protects the wood because even though the wood might have fully cured where it's dry, where it might not crack, it's still wood.
Oh, so you have to even deal with the wood at the place where it has to be dried out. And sometimes that can take, depending on the type of wood, up to a year, I've heard. It just depends on the kind of wood you're using. Do you know the type of wood you're using?
I usually use aspen, birch, or basswood.
Okay.
Those are sort of my favorite wood types. I've dealt with other wood types before, like I've ordered like slices before that would crack right down the middle. And it's like, okay, they just sold me wood that hasn't properly cured long enough because it was still, you could just hear it pop.
Wow.
And I've made like a little joke on that on Instagram where I just threw stuff in my fire pit. It's like, hey, this wood ain't no good for me. So,
Wow. So Kira, somebody like me totally we don't understand what really goes into this. I understand now about the resin that has to be applied. I understand about the wood that needs to be dried out. But then there's something else that you do, because each of these pieces looks so perfect. The finish. When you find a piece of wood, what do you have to do to finish that wood?
well, after I resin, I have to make sure that it properly cures for at least, I want to say, 48 hours. Then after that, I usually get the bottom and I have to sort of sand it because the resin drips. And I just want to have a nice little kind of a smooth, kind of even finish at the bottom. I even do it with my buttons, my magnets, like everything that has resin on it, I sanded that. Necklaces too.
So you sand it before you put the resin on and after, or how do you do that?
I usually sand it after. Now with some of these, like I can't think of the name of this wood, but I know with this one, I usually have to spray it with polyurethane so the resin stick better.
Adhere to it?
Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I have to kind of do some prep work before, just spraying that with some polyurethane. I have to definitely do that outside. Do not spray inside unless you like getting high. That's up to you.
Mm-hmm.
But after the resin, after it's fully dried and it's not like sticky or tacky anymore, I sand it, and that could take anywhere from, depending on how much resin is on there or how many things that I resin, it usually takes me anywhere from an hour to 3 hours to do that.
Okay.
And I just usually get like a little palm sander and just, that's it.
Okay. We'd like to see you at work, so we're going to let you go ahead and get started, and we're going to be filming you and watching what you do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cool.
So let's watch Kira at work. The detail on the hair and how she has everything outlined, but because of her background in art, she has a sense of all the detail and contrast of shadowing and all of that. If you notice that the hair in certain areas is darker, I don't know if that's because she hasn't finished it yet on the left side, but
It's both.
but you can see that she has a good sense of what needs to happen to make this person's hair look authentic. And I'll give you another example. When you look at this one, this Dre, is that his name?
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
so you can see how the part in his hair, and it almost looks, look at the hair, this almost looks like a painting when you look at it close up. The shadow on his face, you see that, everyone? You come out and see some of her work here at the Guild. It's incredible. And she demonstrates in other places as well and goes on exhibit. I think you're going to be where, in Tennessee?
I'll be in Memphis, Tennessee, November 5th. That's a Saturday. I'm going to be at Magnolia Markets Saturday. That's tomorrow.
Okay, that'll probably be past by the time this airs in a week or so. But at least we know this young lady is making things happen, even with the pandemic going on. But this is just fabulous. And so tell us about the implement that you're using. Is it hot or?
Oh yeah, I mean with this is it's pretty much like drawing with a hot pencil. I can pretty much adjust the temperature. See if I can, so I can make it turn
I can
red.
smell it too.
Hold on
Y'all
a second.
can't smell it.
See if it's gonna turn red. Yeah, that's if you
See,
turn
it's
it up all
turning
the
red.
way.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, it can get really hot. I mean, you can hurt yourself.
And this is the machinery or the technology she's using. And looks like she has more than one pen there
Oh yeah, it helps to have. I
on
prefer.
stylus.
Yeah, I prefer to have two of those instead of one. I mean, they're just a little pricier, but I don't have to wait for one to cool off or anything like that.
Oh,
So it's kind of a nice touch. But those you can get from Amazon, Michaels, Hobby Lobby. You pretty much find them anywhere. But I would definitely recommend that if you're trying to get real serious with pyrography or wood burning, just to get one that has a nice little, again, I'm trying to think, what would you call this? Nice
the
little,
tip to it.
yeah, it's a nice little tip and a nice little grip
You
that
know,
won't burn your fingers up.
the smell, the aroma that I'm smelling from that, it took me back just now to when I was a child. I had a little kit as a child. I didn't even think of that.
Oh,
You know,
really?
just a little toy kit that we used to, I don't know what I did with it, you know, as far as what I was designing or creating, but it was a hobby kit. So Kira's a professional, but sometimes you might want to think about giving your child an experience, and I'm sure they may have some of those kits around today where children can at least experience what it's like to do something like this. But I guess they would have to have an adult supervising, because you said it could get hot and you can hurt yourself.
I mean, if you're not careful, you definitely can. But it's like pretty much playing with any I mean, but once you get the hang of it, I mean, it's relatively safe. Like, you have to be deliberately not paying attention, or if you lay this on the core by accident, which I have done that before. So,
We live and we learn, don't we?
oh yeah, when I just didn't pay attention, because you know, when you first take it out the box, how the cords are still kind of, you know, wrangled up a certain way,
Yeah.
and I didn't lay it flat. That was very fun to see that happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I know they sell some of these. Like, you can probably get one for like less than $20 if it's something you want to play around with. I mean, Walmart's a great place to start. I started off grabbing stuff from Walmart, trying to figure out if I want to do this or not before I started spending a whole lot of money on it.
Right, because it can be an investment, can't it? It can be an investment.
Oh yeah, like even ordering supplies and trying to get all this wood and trying to burn it for all these festivals I like to set up at. It's a pretty tedious, time-consuming product because, you know, I don't have an assistant. I do this all by hand myself.
On your own, yeah. One of the things I would say as a professional, the Mississippi Arts Commission offers many grants to individual artists. That would help you with creating something like this for your marketing. The monies they provide is a reimbursable expense of up to $500. I think they offer it twice a year, and it would help you. It doesn't help you buy machinery or things like that, but expendable supplies. So you can get the wood that you need, the boxes, packaging, things like that that will help you, the resin that you need, those kinds of things. And so that's a great opportunity if you have a resume that speaks to you earning part of your living or all of your living as an artist or a craftsperson. So keep that in mind.
Oh yeah, I recently I've been awarded like a mini grant from the Mississippi Arts Commission. Actually used those funds to take a workshop where I did like a lip and a hair study. So I got real defined with getting the hair texture and the lips. Because lips is always something I sort of struggled with.
Yes.
So that's one of the few pieces I created like after I had that after I took those 2 courses. And I have it also on my Instagram where I posted what I created when I took that course. So I always say there's always room for improvement. So
Right. And we can be life learners and grow. And that helps you expand your ideas. So when new ideas come up, that training is always helpful. That's very good. Thank you so much, Kira. So
oh yeah.
if people wanted to get in touch with you, they could go to KiraCummingsStudio.com, or you can, she has this QR code, and then she has access to her square and all. She's got, she's professional. That's all I can say. She's professional. And don't forget, she does the videography as well. So that's another, and it's very professional, it's very well done, very, very creative, outside the box, not just, what I'm doing now is inside the box. But with all the animation and different things, music and those kinds of things, she can really make your business look good, just like she's doing here for herself. So we want to thank Kira today, and you can find her on Instagram, and you can find her on her website. Thank you so much, Kira.
Alrighty.